coming up on Grady Newsource. We're live at Appalachia High School for the first day of school after the tragic shooting on September 4th. Jackson County held their Fall into Recycling event where volunteers collected used goods to be donated to those in need. And finally, we're going to take you to Pooch's in the Park where you'll see what the rescue organizations are doing to raise awareness in Jackson County.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Everyone, my name is Sarah Sims and thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight we will start with Appalachia High School reopening its doors to students today after nearly 3 weeks of closure following the September 4th mass shooting. Grady Newsource reporter Ryan Lynch joins us live now from outside the high school. Ryan, how did that first day go today?
Thank you, Sarah. Although school is out for the day now, students attended an open house between the hours of 9 a.m. to noon today. Sheriff Judd Smith held a press conference this morning to address community concerns. Take a look.
Fourth, our community was brought to its knees. Unfortunately, our most vulnerable were attacked, our kids and our teachers in this building behind us. But what evil did not plan for was the resiliency and the strength that they have.
Appalachia High School reopened its doors to students and parents on Monday. The school says it has increased law enforcement presence and added therapy dogs and mental health support. According to therapist Fernanda Rainwater, it's going to be a tough day.
I can imagine that it's going to be pretty triggering and it might cause them to just have to zone out a little bit in order to get through the day. But also there is a side of it that's they'll never be able to overcome the triggering situations unless they put themselves back in it, kind of like exposure therapy type stuff.
Parents have expressed their gratitude towards school staff and administration. Appalachia High School parent Sonia Turner said in a statement to Grady Newsource, "The staff and all the volunteers have been amazing, trying to bring peace and comfort to our families."
The love that we give our kids and the love that we give our parents and our staff and teachers, it will always prevail over what happened.
Students will continue to go back to school for half days for the remainder of the week and until October 4th. They'll return to normal full school days after fall break on October 14th. I'm Ryan Lynch at Appalachia High School. Back to you in the studio, Sarah.
Thanks, Ryan. It's 42 days until Americans nationwide hit the polls and cast their votes. In preparation for November election, Athens-Clarke County is taking critical steps to ensure voting integrity, a logic and accuracy testing of all voting equipment. Grady Newsource reporter Savannah Hernandez gives an inside look at that testing process.
Starting today, workers at the Elections Department are busy checking roughly 700 pieces of equipment to make sure they're ready to accurately count votes.
So every single piece of equipment and every single type of equipment that goes out gets tested.
Georgia law requires all voting equipment to go through a series of tests before every election. First, the Elections Department must receive the secure election database from the Georgia Secretary of State's office. Then, workers like Renee Russo test paper-based voting machines, the voter check-in system, and the optical scanners used to record absentee ballots.
Does it print the ballot correctly? So we're checking that. Does it read the ballot correctly when it goes into the scanner? Checking that. And then from the scanner to the system to make sure that that transfer is smooth, because then we'll upload the results to the Secretary of State's office.
After the machines are tested, they'll be sealed and securely stored until Election Day. In the interest of transparency, the public, news media, and political parties are invited to attend and observe the process firsthand. McGlawn says with the election integrity being called into question, it's important to have an open testing process.
For public trust, I think it's very important so that they can understand the processes that we do.
Testing will take place at the ACC Facilities and Landscape Management Building. It will continue daily starting at 9 a.m. until all equipment is cleared. Officials expect to be finished by Friday.
An opportunity for the public to get involved, kind of know what goes on, and to feel confident that when they get there, the equipment's going to work right and it will count correctly.
With Election Day fast approaching, Russo says testing plays a vital role in ensuring a reliable and transparent voting experience. Savannah Hernandez, Grady Newsource.
Grady Newsource reporter Melanie Levy is following the ongoing investigation in Birmingham, Alabama, and joins us live from the newsroom. Melanie, tell us more.
That's right, Sarah. A mass shooting in Birmingham, Alabama has left 17 people injured and 4 people dead. Now, this happened on Saturday night, right in the heart of a bustling entertainment district. The Birmingham police chief has said that this was not random, but rather a targeted attack by multiple shooters against one individual. The others, unfortunately, caught in the crossfire. Now, the 17 wounded after the incident were taken to local hospitals where they were treated for their wounds, including the University of Alabama at Birmingham Hospital, who released a statement saying that they received 12 individuals, one of whom was deceased. The conditions of the current people who they are treating range anywhere from good to fair. Now, Athens Clarke County Police Lieutenant Jody Thompson will tell us a little bit about what exactly a targeted hit is.
That's where there may be some prior issue with somebody, or a disrespect issue, or maybe an action against them like a drive-by shooting or anything like that. Then either organization or individuals will take action on that, where they'll go directly after that person or their families. While it's not common, this type of violence does occur, and unfortunately sometimes innocent bystanders are injured.
As of now, none of the shooters have been identified, so the Birmingham Police Department initiated a tip line urging anybody with any information to submit a tip. They have also announced a $100,000 reward to incentivize the public to come forward with any information. This is an ongoing story and we'll keep you updated. Sarah, back to you.
Thanks, Melanie, for those updates. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at how local counties are making efforts to be more sustainable.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far. A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
The Athens Clarke County Recycling Division is doing what they can to lower pollution. Grady Newsource reporter Christian Andrade tells us more about the Athens Repair Cafe that works to decrease landfill.
Athens resident Ken Pruitt broke his shredder after shredding 2 credit cards.
It was a great working shredder, and it's a shame to have to throw it away.
He took it to the repair cafe to get it looked at. Feeling about it. Bruce Carpenter, aka Blix, took on the task. He's volunteered at the Athens Repair Cafe for a year and a half.
It's fun to me to find out what's wrong with something.
After taking the shredder apart, Carpenter found a broken gear that needed to be replaced. He showed Pruitt where he could buy the part he needed. The shredder hasn't been fixed yet, but at least Pruitt tried.
doesn't hurt to try to fix it. If you can fix it, then it's cool. If you can't, you can recycle it or something. So that's cool.
Michael Burns is a software developer who has volunteered at the Athens Repair Cafe since April. Repair cafes are places where people can try to get their things fixed by a volunteer for free.
This is a worldwide movement. They have many of these all over in different countries all over the world.
Since the Repair Cafe International Foundation started 15 years ago, they have over 2,500 repair cafes around the world. Sandy Cedarbaum runs the Repair Cafe in Athens.
Often you'll have this section of your house where you just have those things kind of piling up because you're like, I just can't get rid of that. And so this is a great resource to use. You can bring it in. You're going to meet with somebody who has a background, has the ability to tell you even whether or not it can be fixed.
Christian Andrade, Grady Newsource.
Although Jackson County does not offer a recycling service, Grady Newsource reporter Colin Miller has more on an event where the community can dispose of those items to begin the new season.
It may not look like fall just yet in Jackson County, but that hasn't stopped the organization Keep Jackson County Beautiful from kicking off seasonal festivities with the annual Fall into Recycling event over the weekend. Since the county doesn't have a recycling service, it holds special events twice a year for the community to drive in and dispose of their waste properly.
I'm not saying build a recycling center by any means, but at some point when we have citizens move in from counties that do have recycling, like a Clark or a Gwinnett or a Hall, the residents at some point are going to say, we do expect to have this service.
The lack of recycling is not just an issue in Jackson. According to the National Recycling Database, 38% of all current households in Georgia do not have access to recycling. According to volunteers like Dean Casey, one solution to the problem is being aware of events like this one.
If you heard about this event, tell your family, tell your neighbors, hey, we have a Jackson County or whatever county you live in, we have a recycling event. You got any old electronics you want to bring? And that's the most important thing to me, is to spread awareness.
Citizens could bring in items such as cardboard, paper, and electronics, which will all be broken down and repurposed, as well as clothing, which will be donated to a local thrift store. Waste such as oil, paint, and lights were also accepted, but only in limited amounts before citizens had to pay a fee.
So it's a really good opportunity to take what would be harmful to the environment or just useless and use it for good.
With Grady Newsource, I'm Colin Miller.
After Barrow County Public Works voiced that citizens' feedback is what matters the most, there is now going to be an open house this Thursday to collect citizen feedback on transportation safety. The open house is taking place at Barrow County Historic Courthouse. The event will overview their recent safety analysis along with countermeasures to reduce accidents along specific roadways. While Barrow County makes their roads safer, UGA athletes are providing a place to play for local students. Grady Newsource reporter Keisha Chestnut tells us how athletes are creating a cost-free space for the young students.
University of Georgia student athletes are bringing the joy of running to Athens-Clarke County kids with a new 6-week program.
You did so good!
Run Athens, led by UGA's college track and field athletes, gives local children the chance to get active, make friends, and connect with them. Ashley Reynolds, parent of 4, found it hard to find a place that is easy to plug her children into.
Thought it would be just a great chance for them to come out and be physically fit and to have some fun, make some friends, and also just the influence of seeing these college athletes who have worked so hard and have just a chance to influence the younger generation.
Run Your City, founded at University of Virginia, is a free program aiming to increase accessibility for families of all backgrounds and to connect college students with the local youth. UGA track and field athlete Kylie Gale decided to start a chapter here.
And I thought that was a really good idea to give back to the community along with my teammates, so I went ahead and got that started.
For many families, the cost of sports can be a major obstacle. This program provides a free, fun way for children to stay active without parents worrying about cost.
Remove the barriers that kids face when trying to play a sport or just be active, because a lot of times it can be really expensive to join a team.
Run Athens tries to create a space where everyone can join in. It's more than just a sport. but striving to build a better community. From Keisha Chestnut, Grady Newsource.
And coming up after the break, our weather anchor Nigel Whittington gives us the 5-day forecast and looks back to Sunday, which was just a warm fall welcome.
Their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
I'm Nigel Whittington with a look at your 5-day forecast. While today is the second day of fall, the weather certainly did not reflect that here on campus, with temperatures reaching a sunny high of 95 and a low of 71. Tuesday's going to look pretty similar, with a mostly sunny high of 91 and a low of 69. Now, Wednesday's going to look a bit different, however. We got chances of showers early and a high of 85 and a low of 69. Showers are going to continue into Thursday with a high of 78 and a low of 68. And we round out our 5-day forecast with thunderstorms on Friday with a high of 79 and a low of 65. Now, looking back to Sunday, it was the first day of fall, but 90-degree weather throughout the day isn't what fall weather typically consists of. Earlier today, I sat down with Professor Pam Knox, the director of the UGA Weather Network and an agricultural climatologist, and she said this about the hot start to fall many on campus are experiencing.
Once we get into the fall, no matter how you define it, you start to get fronts coming through. Cold fronts bring cooler and drier air, and warm fronts come up from the south and they bring warmer and more humid air. And so we go through this transitional period every fall and spring where we're getting these waves of temperature changes over time. So it's not really quite record setting, but definitely warmer than usual, and it feels like summer. By the end of this week, we're going to go back to cooler conditions as the hurricane comes up and we start to get more cloud cover and rain. So we're going to go back to this back and forth. That's really a natural part of the transitional seasons of spring and fall in Georgia.
The late week rain is coming courtesy of Tropical Storm Helene, which is currently developing in the Western Caribbean Sea. I'm Nigel Whittington, and this has been your 5-day forecast. Coming up, the college football AP poll for week 5 is out, and almost 40% of it comes from the SEC. Grady Newsource reporter Ethan Wright will have more on this after the break.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
What's up, sports fans? I'm Ethan Wright, bringing you the sports roundup from this past week. And what a week of college football we just had. There was some big upsets, including James Madison's stunning 70-50 win over UNC. And talk about a thriller, the Colorado Buffs pulled off a nail-biting overtime win against Baylor on Saturday night. Number 6 Tennessee welcomed number 15 Oklahoma into the SEC with a 25-15 win. And Archie Manning led number 1 Texas to a dominant 50-30 win over the Louisiana Monroe in his first college start. In more news, the SEC has 9 teams in the top 25 this week. Texas retained the number 1 spot. Georgia remains at number 2. Alabama's at 4, and Tennessee moved up to number 5. So the SEC still controls 5 to 6 of the top spots after 4 weeks of action. And in Major League Baseball news, Los Angeles Dodgers designated hitter Shohei Ohtani made MLB history last week. On Thursday, Ohtani became the first player to join the 50-50 club, hitting his 49th, 50th, and 51st home runs, while also stealing his 50th and 51st stolen bases. He went 6 for 6 in that game with 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 2 stolen bases, and 10 RBIs in the Dodgers win over the Miami Marlins. That's all I got for you today on sports. Coming up soon, we'll be talking about all things dog, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, that's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
And speaking of dogs, Grady Newsource reporter Tori Newman shows us all about rescue nonprofits reach out at the Jackson County signature community events.
Pooches in the Park is making a splash in the Jackson County dog community. Held over the weekend, the annual event features dog-friendly food vendors, dog-themed arts and crafts, and even a family selfie station. Also included was its Adoption Alley, a row of rescue organizations with a specific goal in mind.
Hopefully we get some of them adopted today.
In the alley, you'll find Dirt Road Doggies Rescue, who attend every year, not just to meet the community, but to help their puppies.
This gives the rescue exposure, but also it's good for the dogs and the puppies to have the sights and sounds around them, people coming up, being introduced.
By finding new ways to reach out, these groups can also tackle recent challenges. As Ambrose says, the economy has impacted their adoption process lately.
People are struggling, with the inflation and the cost of everything, and bringing another family member in. Dogs are not cheap to vet, to feed, to board, and all the things that families have to take into consideration.
At the Jackson County Animal Shelter, transfers out to rescue organizations have risen over the last 2.5 years, increasing the volume of dogs that nonprofits take in. But for people who want to add a pet to their family and might be worried about the price tag, Director Brad Richards recommends using a budget to plan ahead.
So that's one good way I think you could save. You just got to plan ahead.
Adoptions for dogs and puppies cost $150 at the animal shelter, but it's completely free to hang out, meet some rescue puppies, and get involved with the Braselton dog community. For Grady Newsource, I'm Tori Newman.
Thank you for joining us on Grady Newsource. I'm Sarah Sims. Have a great night.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna. Thank you.
Study, please. I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
All right, we're on. Guys, congratulations. This was a very, very smooth show, even though we had 2 lives, one from the newsroom, one from the field. Very, very smooth show. Noah, first time producing. Are you think you're going to do it again?
No.
No? Never?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. We have to work on that, guys. You've got to help me convince him. I'm going to look at everybody's stuff again. Lots of things happening, so I wasn't able to really focus on everybody's work. But it looked, the close-ups and the way the B-roll, the way it worked with the script, from what I was able to see, was very good. We had strong anchoring on all fronts. Very nice. Sarah, where are you? I can't see you. Yeah, very nicely done. All of you just, a very genuine in front of the camera, personable, connect with viewers. Only one thing, when you start with such a tragic story, a little less smile. I like the fact that you welcome people with a little smile. Then you toned it down, but I still felt you could be a little more serious because it's such a tragic event. It didn't look bad, but I would have suggested that just for next time. But again, I'm just nitpicking. I watched you to see if you're swaying too much. I didn't think you were swaying, just a little bit in the beginning, but then you just nailed those temperatures and you were so smooth and you walked around and you didn't hide any temperatures and you got fam knocks in. Only one thing, I didn't notice that when I was reading your script, that you kept referring to on campus. Our audience is bigger, so try to avoid saying on campus. That's the only thing, and that's just, again, nitpicking. Ethan, very personable. You were really enjoying yourself. You really, yeah. Very well written. I could tell, all of you, just wonderful, the three of you. And lots of great MMJ work. The live shot was very good also. We almost didn't get it, but we did. Yeah, Mel was did a great job without a teleprompter here. And that's great practice without the teleprompter. All in all, I'm very pleased. Still see just very few packages with some jump cuts, but that's getting better and better. A few packages lacking nut graphs. I worked with some of you to introduce them. With some of you, I wasn't able to get to you on time. Always when you do a story, it's about an issue, it's about a problem. So always have some kind of underpinning, some kind of study, some kind of data to put that in broader context. A lot of the stories you're doing are also solution stories. So when you have a solution story, make sure that you find out about the limitations of the solution. Every solution has limitations, and that's a really important part of the story. Again, for us to do journalism that goes beyond just promoting something, really looking at it in a realistic and an investigative way where we are showing what works, what are the benefits, but also we are putting it in the correct perspective. So those are my thoughts. I'm really, really happy, really, really proud of you. Andrew said that all the packages almost, they sort of made it on time, which is good. We have to keep working on that. Glad we didn't have late packages, and you see the difference on air. It runs smoother. I think everything. Nothing. You just had to float a few packages, readers. Yeah. So Noah, what was so scary? Why wouldn't you ever do it again? Share with us. Oh, wait a minute. You need a mic. Hold on. I'll bring you one. Thank you. Let everyone hear.
So, starting off, I took notes because I forget things. Good job, everybody. All the MMJs did a really good job. I thought packages were really good. Christian this morning, having that backup story when the first one wasn't necessarily sound, having that second one, really good job with that. Tech team, it was a smooth show. So that's because the tech team did a really good job. Volunteers did a really good job. Packages were in on time. Live shots really good. Mel, really good job. Ryan also did a good job. We had minutes to go start the show, and her camera turned on, and it was like breathing life because we didn't have to change what we were doing. Why I would never do it again. I would not have been able to do it in any capacity without Sarah's help today, without Savannah's help today. I am very creative when it comes to, hey, we need a hype video for the basketball team. I'm not very creative when it's like, we have a story on voting. How does that connect to dogs? So I'm not good at putting the puzzle pieces together, and those two helped me a ton building the puzzle that was this show. And then finally, we were 30 seconds heavy. There were some tiny mistakes on my part.
I'll take it away from your salary.
Good. Tiny mistakes on my part that messed up time. I caught it, thankfully. But this is, I guess, my ending piece of advice once you get to this position. Going into our break before Nigel, I knew we were 30 heavy. And we'd already told Nigel we were doing the 2 minute. And so I decided I'm not switching Nigel's 2 minute to a 1 minute because I have to explain to the tech team that we need to remove his SOT and go to the 1 minute, and that's not fair to Nigel to give him that change so quickly. So I didn't say anything. After the fact, I talked with V about it, and she said that I did have the time to do it.
2 minutes you had,
Yeah,
if you had
yeah.
started immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was my initial idea. Because I had not been in that position before and I was a little nervous, I decided to let Nigel have his 2 minutes because I don't have a salary, and if we go over, it's fine.
I'll take your water bottle.
Especially if Nigel gets his 2 minute. That was really good.
Yeah.
I really like that SOT.
Very good.
So that was the position I was in, and then because we didn't have enough readers at the end, thank you to Savannah for getting our Carson Beck's reader that we ended up floating, and it didn't matter because I forgot to put it as 15 seconds, so it wasn't counted in the time anyway. So we had to float it no matter what. But besides all that, that's why I'd never do it again. Good job, everybody. Show's over. Thank God.
You did great too. Good job for you as well. Anybody wants to say something about today's show before we transition to our solutions peeps? I want to hear from the Athens-Clarke County and from Barrow County because I sent Athens-Clarke County. Did you guys manage to see my comments? And if you haven't, yeah, you want to take a look at them real quick while I give the word to Barrow County so that we can talk. Seems like they are inching towards something similar, and life is what it is. Whatever you find in the county and you feel like that's what it is, we'll just create. It's all different content because it comes from different. Did you have an idea? Please go ahead. I'm sorry I didn't see what you wanted.
So I like anchoring. Like it's probably what I want to do the most of. But there's just there's little stuff that like differs from things to things. But I would say like honestly like weather is probably one of the most difficult things I've done, which sounds crazy, because I think it's just like movement, and there's like 3 different cameras down there, so it's like 3 different like prompters and TVs. So like looking down there, you kind of just have to know like what not to be in front of and like moving and gesturing. So I think I'm pretty good like hand-eye coordination, but you really like learn like, and shout out to the technical team because I had to do like a bunch of like retakes and everything just to get the movements and everything down. So I guess like when you do weather, that's one of the things. And then I guess just make things conversational. One of the biggest things I feel like is like we see a script, we write our script, we practice, and we feel like we have to have it exactly like that. And we get so in our heads that if it's not like that, it's over. And it took me a minute, but I kind of realized like everybody thinks you're audibly. Like nobody knows what you have written except yourself. So just be personal, just act like you're talking, and I should probably do this more, but just slow down, I guess.
Very well said. Yeah, you have to be conversational, and that's what I told Mel. She was trying to pronounce the exact name of the bar where the shooting happened, and I just told her, let go of that name and just focus on a lively entertainment, whatever, and just that kind of helped you, right? So this is something that I would recommend this, and exactly that's what you're saying. You've got to simplify it the way it feels comfortable, as if you're talking to a friend. And that's what I always imagined. I'm talking to my anchor in the studio, I'm talking to somebody who doesn't know enough about the story, and that helps you not dumb it down, but simplify it to where it makes sense to the viewer and it improves your delivery, because there's only so many things you can jam into something and really memorize. So at that point, you're just worried about, am I going to remember everything? When you let go of a lot of details that are not necessary in a live shot, then you relax, and then you start speaking, like you were saying. I was speaking, or you said you were talking, right? Yeah, yeah, very well done. I could tell you practice, both of you, and Sarah. Very strong team, anchoring. And you, of course, yeah, so great advice. I thank you for saying that. Anybody else? You wanted to share something.
Sports was not the hardest thing I've ever done. I'm not going to say it's easy because Professor V's right here and she might try to make it hard or something, but
I try hard to make it hard.
I love it. And I don't even think it's because I know sports. I wouldn't say I technically know sports. I think it was just the fact that after, what's it been, like 3-4 weeks of just MMJing, you're coming in, you're chasing stories, you're putting together packages, that can actually, that can drain you so quickly to the point where you're not even looking forward to Wednesday as much, even if it's Tuesday. But sports was like, okay. He's not wrong, guys. But sports was like, okay, I know sports. Even if you don't know sports, football comes on every Saturday and Sunday. You can just watch one and be like, okay, somebody threw it and they caught it. Which, makes it easy to be more conversational. But then also, sports is super informal. So, when I was sitting down writing it, which makes it easier when you're standing in front of the camera. Something like, what's up? You're not going to say at the desk. But if you're doing sports, you can, what's up, do some push-ups, cartwheels, whatever. So my piece of advice would just be to, at least when you get an anchoring position, like sports, whether, I know this is a class and everything that we have to do is supposed to be done a certain way and professor's looking for a certain thing, but don't let it stress you. Just intentionally try to have fun with whatever it is you're doing. If you want to find something about parkour, do that, because it's really fun. And now you got to go back to MMJing, which we all love. But that's all I got.
Yeah, MMJing is tough, but you've got about, I would say, 8 or 9 MMJ assignments per person. So you've already done probably 2 of them at least, or 3. You guys have done 3 or 4? 3. So hey. Yeah. It's because I'm rotating you guys, so not everybody.
I thought it went pretty good. I had fun in there. Once I got through the first segment of A block, even throughout the rest of it, I was good. So once I got through that, it was smooth. I would say what really helped me out a lot today was helping Noah kind of format the scripts and the rundown, because it made me a lot more familiar with what's going on. So when I looked at the script, it wasn't what the heck is this talking about? I actually had context. So definitely be familiar as much as you can with the script and help your producer out, because they've got a lot of people to answer to, and you're kind of able to help them in that way. So that made me feel a lot more comfortable going into it. And then, two, I think we've all said this, but printing out your scripts is really helpful, and kind of just giving yourself something to run through so you know what's next. I would say I can also hear what's going on in the tech room sometimes, if I'm not sure what the floor director is about to do, counting me in, I can kind of hear the package in there. So kind of look out for that. And if you think you're about to start jumbling on your words, really enunciate, because then that makes you slow down. Because I know I can talk quickly, but then when I'm trying to look on there and I feel okay, I could start getting jumbled up on that, you have to kind of enunciate to give yourself more time to get the words out.
Or use the simpler word.
Yeah. Well, it's just sometimes it's just tongue ties things right back to back, so it's hard.
She sells seashells by the seashore.
Seashore, yeah. So I would say that's that. Definitely read ahead of time. And you can ask all these questions to your floor director. She'll ask them right back up. So everyone was saying, just have fun with it, because then it's just not as nerve-wracking going into it.
Yeah.
Just because if you're just stressing yourself out, you're gonna mess up even more. So just focus on literally what's ahead of you, and not the 3 stories you have to do 10 seconds from now, because then you're gonna get everything confused. So just focus on exactly in front of your eyes. So
great advice. Any other thoughts, guys? Great advice. All right, so Barrow County, how did your day go?
was like,
Guys,
where
can
do
you
people
hear
go
us?
in Barrow? Hello?
Hello.
Are y'all listening to me? I'm sorry. So our main objective was like finding where to go in Barrow, because I don't know if y'all have gone to Barrow, but it's not the most poppin' place in the world. So we're like, Old Navy, Bell. Like we just were in the middle of a shopping center. We found some Appalachie buses and a lot of cars like voicing their support for the school. So we just took B-roll of that just in case you ever need it. And then yeah, we talked to some individuals. It's really intimidating to like go up to people when they're shopping, but you got to do it. And yeah, the library and the courthouse, we went there as well. We tried going as many places as we could, and we got to talk to like 7 people. No one really wanted to be on camera, but our main objective was just hearing them out, to start from somewhere, and we did.
But you need people on camera for your...
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll have to go back to maybe do some shopping if you're going back there also. Yeah, but you need to have, and what if you choose an issue that you felt those 7 people gave you, but then you go back and people are telling you different things? I doubt it.
Yeah, but it's school safety, which is like a big issue thing
Yeah.
now, so.
But my advice would be to capture people on camera and make sure that you've got like at least 3 or 4. But you know, you guys will get it done. It means more work for you and a little more uncertainty. So your feeling is, what is the big issue there?
Our feeling is we're focusing on school safety, not necessarily like focusing on the guns. We've brainstormed a lot.
There's 2 different routes we can take it. We could either take it where the week before Appalachie they implemented the Centegics program, so we can talk about like the implementation of that and how it did like in the end make a difference or not make a difference. Or we can take it where there are counties that have metal detectors. There are counties, and there's this company in Augusta that has like over the supplies like blackout shades and safety lockers to over like 6,000 schools across the nation. So we're gonna reach out to Cobb County and that company and see what we can get back. But if we can't get anything from them, then we're just gonna go with the Centegics route, since it was a solution that was implemented that did end up, some would say working, some would say not. So there's 2 different ways we can take it, and we just have to reach out to people, and we have to get some interviews before we can really make up our minds.
I like the Centegic because it really saved lives.
Yeah.
However, you would need to cover it from a school that has had it longer, so that it showed its benefits and limitations. So again, it worked in Barrow, but it had just been implemented.
Right.
So there are other schools, I'm sure, that you will find who have implemented it, let's say for a year, so that it's excellent, excellent. So that could be your solution. Also, one solution. Pick one solution and stick with it.
Yeah, we just haven't sent those emails yet, so we have to see who we get responses from.
And then get the official who you decide could speak about that, about the issue, the school safety, and talk about the solution, and get their reaction. And think about benefits and limitations as well. And anything else that you guys, do you have any questions, anything? So write your pitch in a Google Doc so I can give you some comments. You know, what are your possible sources? Who are you thinking? How are you thinking of doing the story, so that I can give you some meaningful comments and make it more difficult, as Ethan would say. Let me make it more difficult for you guys. Athens Clark Peeps. I know I'm tired too. We can make it to hear from Athens Clark. Keisha, we don't. Is Keisha going to be?
So,
put you on the spot. Yeah.
Basically, last night we wrote our script, and we gotten pretty far on it. I really like how the story is developing so far. What question would you like me to answer? I'm sorry.
Well, the question is about having just one solution and making sure that that solution is actually a solution to the problem you have chosen. If it's gun violence, then would self-defense classes really be a solution? Which one of the two really corresponds to solving the issue you have decided? It felt like you weren't quite there yet, and I may be wrong because I don't know. You hadn't hyperlinked that solution so that I can, and please hyperlink so that I can read up and know what I'm talking about as I complicate things.
Yes. Christian?
Yes, well, this wasn't necessarily the self-defense classes. It wasn't necessarily the self-defense class, but that was, like, we were going to show all the solutions whenever you said narrow it down to one that we haven't taught together yet since then. But in my head, what I feel like the best one will be, what we have the best clips for, is the mentoring young men thing. We got the Asia Thomas runs that. That's a program she started. And in her opinion, the solution to stopping gun violence would be to create positive communities for young men of color, is what she's saying. Like, instead of them going to gangs, like, creating. So that was the solution I was thinking we should.
Yeah, okay, so I didn't get that wrong. What my concern is that we're stereotyping. Why are we doing a solution that doesn't include white people? The shooter at Appalachia was white, right? Why are we stereotyping? That was my concern when I saw that, because I did see that it's not for all young people, right? So
okay, that was what she was just
I
referencing.
couldn't read up on it because there was no hyperlink, so that's why I wanted to know more about it and whether it is something that really addresses the full complexity of the problem. That was my thinking. So you guys think about it. Think about it. That's why we're doing this outline of your story, so that we can keep working and refining it. Also, with your gun purchase thing, we have to make sure that it's underpinned with data. If the ease with which people can get guns contributes to gun violence, and you have data underpinning that, then what you did is excellent. It's very easy to get a gun. Anybody can get a gun, whatever, but it has to be underpinned with some sound data. That's what I meant with that comment. So these are the two, to me, that stood out, that you guys were not there yet. You needed to refine your thinking. That's up to you.
I think we should still try to pursue a similar solution.
Yes, I agree.
That just doesn't.
But that doesn't stereotype one particular part of the population, right?
That's fine.
That was my thinking. But I do think that could work. But find a solution that is really a solution that tackles the problem in its complexity.
Okay.
Not just one particular group of people. But I do like where you're going with that. Yeah, I agree that it is. But that's why we're starting so early, so that you guys have time to come up with something great that could be, could be added to the story tracker of the Solutions Journalism Network. We have Michael Davis, who's going to join us again. Very well done. Very well done. Impressive. Very well done. And glad you were there so early in the morning to catch that press conference. Yes. Yeah, why not?
Oh no, you're good. I think the live shot went well. I was happy with it. I don't think I had a ton of information in my actual live shot.
Anything you want to you? I'm tired. I'm tongue-tied. Okay. Yes. Anything you want to share from your experience? How you dealt? Was it scary?
Yeah.
What were the things that went right? What did you learn? If you want to share something with people, I want them to feel more comfortable doing live shots. Was it your first one ever?
I did one last year for not through this, but through something else. But so second one, I guess. I will say,
That's not a lot.
But yeah, not a lot. Going there this morning and it's not my county, it's not my beat. Like kind of showing up there and then like being next to like Fox 5 and 11 Alive, that was pretty intimidating. But everyone just kind of does their own thing. So just do your thing and everyone else does their own thing.
You were there with the big leagues.
And then this guy from Fox 5 comes up to us and is like, who are you guys with? And yeah, and then today, going back the second time was less intimidating because we just kind of looked where everyone else was setting up and we set up the sidewalk across the street. And yeah, I think the press conference, that went well, you know. Yeah, so I was pretty pleased with it. Feel good about it. Yeah.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Thank you.
And I think she deserves the Play-Doh of the day, I think. What do you guys think? Because, and Faith, thank you, Faith helped a lot. Yeah, and this wasn't even your county, and so I think you deserve
Thank you.
What color do you want? Pink, orange?
This is better.
I'll bring one. I grabbed an orange one.
Oh, thank you so
I grabbed
much.
an orange one. It's just a silly thing.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. A little stress relief.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Good job. All right, guys, really proud of you. How about we do it again on Wednesday? I know, I know it's a lot, but